Russell Westbrook has been doing some ridiculous things to the box scores in the NBA this year of recent. I think he just hit his 11th triple-double on the season. He's really making a case for the MVP. We had a different debate on that. Make sure to check out that clip. But when it comes to Russell Westbrook, there's a lot of similarities to the intensity in which he plays to that of
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant.
I thought you were going to say Spud Webb or
Oh,
Chris
Spud
Paul.
Webb. Oh, Vlade. Sorry, Vlade Divac.
Kobe Bryant, yes. And a lot of that came after an NBA TV interview where he said that he plays with that similar fire. He plays mean. We have a great Kobe quote that we want to show you and share with you regarding him, regarding his stance on Russell Westbrook. In approach to the game, 100%, he's aggressive and he's unapologetic about it. At the same time, there are some other two guards around the league that have similar skills as far as shooting the long ball, post-up, mid-range, James Harden, Klay Thompson. But James Harden doesn't play mean like Russell Westbrook, and Klay Thompson is just a nice guy. And he doesn't play as mean with that ferocity that Westbrook plays. I mean, Westbrook went up over his Enes Kanter to rob his own player of an alley-oop because he can get up higher than he did, and he did. He proved that. So we're going to play a very fun game with you guys today. And it's going to be quotes, because the quotes between Kobe and Westbrook are very, very similar. So the idea of this game, we're going to start with JR at the end, is we're going to read off a quote. You have to tell us if it's Kobe or if it's about Westbrook. And we'll go around, we'll get the vote, and our fantastic...
The source of these quotes, is this from random fans?
A few is, I believe, Charles Barkley, from Skip Bayless, the worst.
These are people who know what they're talking about, except for Skip Bayless.
Except for Skip Bayless,
No,
exactly.
Except for Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley quotes are about Charles Barkley.
That's very, very true. Charles Barkley needs to work on his golf swing, speaking of. So let's take a look at the first quote regarding Kobe or Westbrook. When you are a great player, he can get a shot at any time he wants to, but what he needs to learn to do is make the players around him better. Comes from Barkley, from inside the NBA. J.R. Jackson, is that Kobe Bryant or Russell Westbrook?
Easily, that's Kobe. I've heard them say that many times about him. No, I'm probably wrong. But because you can see the instances when people may say that. That's why I think it was important to know who the source of these quotes are from, if they know what they're talking about, or if it's just random fans who don't like particular players because of their affiliation. But as far as that goes, I think I've heard enough people say that Russell Westbrook makes his other teammates better, and especially when he has KD on the floor. You know he's taken the reins because he has to this season, you know. So that's kind of been a criticism of Kobe, no matter who he's playing with.
All right. Jock, Kobe or Westbrook?
I'm going to go with Kobe. Kobe's obviously, a great player, and Charles Barkley, you can see whenever Charles talks about Kobe, he's like always full of high praise. He's such a great player and such a great player, but Charles always tries to level off his praise with just a tad bit of criticism, so that people can't come back to him and be like, well, you just said Kobe was great. You didn't say anything.
Right.
I'm going to say Charles is talking about Kobe.
So you got Kobe.
I'm going to say Westbrook, and I'm going to assume that this is maybe a more recent quote, because Kobe actually in his later years has become much more of a passer. His assists are up more than they used to be, and Westbrook is the guy that just takes it to the hoop and isn't really looking for anyone to pass to. So I think Barkley probably thinks it's Westbrook.
We have 2 on Kobe, we have 1 on Westbrook. I'm saying Kobe. Let's take a look at who it is. Our production team in the back. Who we got? It is Kobe. Mean mugging Kobe.
Mean mugging. That's the Mamba face there.
That is the black Mamba face. You know what's better than the black Mamba? The white Mamba, Brian Scalabrine. Also a mean mugging player. We're going to change the order. We're going to start with Justin on the next quote. Let's see what we got for Kobe or Westbrook. So if the double comes, he's going to try to squeeze off the shot before it gets there because he trusts himself too much. Kevin Ding, writer for Bleacher Report. Justin, Kobe or Westbrook?
Nobody trusts himself in the history of the NBA more than Kobe, so it's definitely Kobe.
No, nice and short to the point. Jock?
Oh, I'm going to go with Westbrook. That sounds like something recent. That sounds like a recent quote. The words felt recent. Right. It felt like new words. So I'm going with
They're young words.
They're young words. So I'm going with Westbrook on that one.
JR.
I'm thinking the same way, only because again, it is more recent with what it sounds like. Westbrook wouldn't normally do something like that. He has other options, and I think he has the mentality: take the reins. And a double team didn't come that much from before. I think you'd bring this up with him a lot more.
I'm saying Westbrook as well because Bleacher Report didn't exist in 1996 when Kobe was drafted. Let's take a look. Production team, what do we got? Oh! Whoa! I called BS. I called BS. I want to see it. I want to see the full article. Moving forward, how are we doing on this? Are we keeping score?
I'm writing down my answers.
I'm 1-1 too. Yeah, we're split.
Yeah, because we're
in Jock's like, I'm 3-0. We haven't even got to number 3 yet. Let's move forward to the next Kobe or Westbrook quote. Coming from the worst of the worst, sometimes you look in his eyes and wonder if anyone's home in there, other than a Terminator, a dead-eyed cyborg of an assassin sent from another world to seek and destroy on our basketball courts. Sometimes he's fearless to the point of seeming not to be human. J.R. Jackson.
You wanna start
Are we
in the middle?
talking about
We went outside. Let's go.
Jock, are you talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I was going to say, that was my
Don't
answer.
worry.
I wrote down an A because I'm like, he must be talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, with Skip, he could be. There's really, God, I want to say Kobe just because, you know, in the time that Kobe's been in the league, like the narrative are always around Kobe is that he is a machine. Like, you know, how hard he practices, how hard he works, how hard he wants other people to work that aren't him,
right,
that should be working as hard as he works. I mean, even from the practice thing from this year where he was like hollering at people in practice and you know, trying to intimidate them. So having that sort of mentality, you have to think that someone saying something like that would have to be about Kobe or about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Also, quick question. Assassin or Cyborg? What do you think he'd rather be called?
I'm going to go with Assassin.
Because he used both, and I've never heard of an assassin robot.
That's what tipped me on that. First half, I was thinking all Kobe. Second half of the quote, I was thinking, well, that sounds like what he would say about Russell Westbrook in one of his, you know, eloquent, long.
Eloquent is such a positive word.
Generous word.
Generous. Yeah, you're right. So I was split on this. This is why I deferred as fast as I could because I'm trying to continue thinking about this. I got to go with Kobe just because the first part really sent me that way for him.
Justin?
You know, I think you guys are forgetting that Westbrook wore a mask this season. And he's very cyborg-like with that mask. So I think that I'm taking some cues from you, and I'm thinking the words that he's using, I'm thinking that Skip was probably describing the cyborg-like Westbrook with that mask on.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
I like that.
Cyborg-like with the mask. Let's go with Russell Westbrook. How we doing, production team?
Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Look at
mask.
you. See?
Very nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
Nicely done.
Let's move forward to the next quote. I believe we have 2 left. I said worst of the worst way too quickly. This man single-handedly ruined my goddamn franchise. And as a Knicks fan, he's a one-man wrecking crew right now. And believe me, at the start of the game, every coach comes in the locker room and they put his name on the board and say, this is what we are going to do to stop him. J.R. Jackson, Kobe Bryant.
Well, knowing that I think Isaiah Thomas now works as an analyst, and I think it's more of a recent thing. He would have said that previously about Kobe, and you won't say that in the past 2 or 3 years about Kobe. I'm going with Russell on this one.
Russ Westbrook.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Russell, but the reason I'm going with that is because everybody knows Kobe is the guy. Like, there's no, like, you don't put Kobe's name on the board anymore. Like, that's a given when you walk into the door.
Right.
Westbrook is a recent phenomenon. Like, not that he's you know, he hasn't been in the league a few years, but this year and last year really kind of helped set the bar with him. So I think now coaches are like, hey, Russell's going crazy. Like, we really need to take care of that.
I feel like it's every 2 guard in the NBA is waking up when Kobe was in his prime, and they're like, shit, we're playing the Lakers. I forget who's on that team, though. I know they got like a Shaq, Fish, Robert Horry. Am I missing somebody? And they walk in the locker room, they're like, oh, that's right, Kobe!
Yeah.
Written on the board. Justin, who do you got for the last
You know, Westbrook has 11 triple-doubles this season, so if he's not the guy on the board, then I don't know who is. So I'm going with Russell Westbrook.
It's not DJ Augustine on the board?
He's having a good year, but probably not.
Let's take a look. Production team, who do we got?
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Okay. Well, I don't believe you. How about that? It is Russell Westbrook. That's awesome. All right, guys. So that was a nice little game of Kobe or Westbrook. Jock, I know you were kind of keeping score. Did you just win, or are you just writing down that you won?
Yeah, I wrote down that I won, but if you want to use the score, then I'm 2-0.
Go right. The winner is probably Russell Westbrook because he's still playing right now. Kobe Bryant is on the sideline, and he'll be back next year, and maybe he'll play till he's 45. Before we wrap this up, any final thoughts for anybody regarding Russell Westbrook's season that he's having, and are they going to make that 8th seed?
Yeah, you know, I don't really think it's fair to compare Russell Westbrook to Kobe right now. When you look at their careers, Kobe had 3 championships by the time he was 24, and Russell's 26. Kobe also has 12 All-NBA defensive team titles to his name. Westbrook has none. So I don't really think they're in the same conversation. I think their tenacity is similar, but it's just really not a fair comparison.
Right.
And I think it's just hard for what Russell is doing this season. It's hard, really. There's really no one else to compare him to in recent memory. Right. And I think Kobe is like the most logical person to compare him to because of that tenacity, because of that ambition, and because of that aggression.
That comparison game comes up all the time.
Right.
And you see it in every article you read. Everybody has to be compared. And you know, Kobe, a friend of mine wrote an article for Bleacher Report a couple weeks back, and he wrote it about Kobe Bryant a couple weeks back. We're going months back at this point, because this is right before he got injured. And he was saying the comparison to Michael Jordan, it's almost an unfair comparison because there'll only be one Michael, but there'll also only be one Kobe.
Right.
And they're 2 different era players. Same as Westbrook, he's playing in a different era. He's playing in another golden age of basketball, though, where Kobe was playing in the 90s was different. He came up, I mean, with the afro and the number 8 and everything that happened. I mean, it's tough because he's at the end of his career, and Westbrook's only at 0.6, 0.7 of his career.
But once you make those comparisons between these two, Westbrook and Kobe, Kobe had, like you just talked about, the era of the Lakers where we had, who are you going to plan to try and stop tonight? I mean, Westbrook has Kevin Durant when he's there. But as you see, he's come out this year, and he's always had the tenacity. As a rookie, he came out with that type of tenacity, but he didn't have control. He's controlled it, or it looks like he's just a rabid beast, but he still knows what he's doing. Look at that. So I think it's an evolution of this kind of play. And maybe this season, as bad as it is that he lost, I guess, the top scorer, the MVP, that he lost him, it's going to develop his game so when he has him back, or when he's with potentially a trio of stars, they can do something more. I mean, it's a little unfair. He doesn't have much of an opportunity to do much, even when he had just Kevin Durant. I mean, you have guys that have 3 superstars, and they only had 2. And it was just him becoming a star. I think it's going to get better. It's as bad as he had to deal with this year. It's making him such a better player.
Fantastic point to end on. There you have it, guys. This was the Rundown brought to you in partnership with TYT Sports and the Post Game. That's Jared Jackson. That's Jacques Slade. That's Justin Mosier. I'm Jason Rubin. Don't forget to subscribe and leave all your thoughts and comments in the comment section below.